Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the ThePCelitist. My name is Woodsy. I'm very excited to finally sit down and do a show. I'm excited to really talk about video games. It's really what I want to do. That's what I've been trying to do all last week, and I didn't get an opportunity to. And I want to talk about video games. So here it is. Last week was very busy. My wife and I were celebrating. Basically, in my first comeback show a few episodes ago, I talked about how I had quit a job of 8 years and started a new job that I absolutely like and love, actually. But she was in kind of the same boat I was, where she was in a job she hated, and now she got a new job. So we were doing a lot of celebrating last week, and there was birthdays and just a lot of stuff going on. And I was trying to get a video up, but I just didn't have an opportunity to do it. And that's kind of the theme of this show, isn't it? Like, adults who have obligations, who don't have enough video games in their life. So it fits within the theme of the show, certainly, but I'd like to be posting more often. But I did take everyone's advice not to worry about it too much, and I think Frosty even mentioned, quality over quantity was the sentiment he gave, and I completely agree. Even to the point that on Thursday, I believe, last Thursday, I sat down and I recorded, but I didn't think anything I said was really up to par, up to my standards. So I dumped it. I just didn't post it because I didn't feel like it was quite entertaining, actually, would be ultimately the reason I didn't post it, because I didn't think anything was substantive. So I'm not going to post garbage. So I only want to post the good stuff. So anyway, speaking of good stuff, those of you who left comments on my last video, I very much appreciate it. And you guys put a lot of thought into the comments, but you put me in something of a quandary that I want to address to you real quick, because I want to get to those subjects. I want to get more into the meat of those subjects, but I'm not quite sure how I want to go about it. And then we'll end this episode with a different subject altogether. But I want to circle back around to the subjects, the comments, and the meatier parts of those. Basically, the quandary I get put in is multi-layered. First, it comes with my response to the comments. And I feel like that I know everyone used to post when I was doing the show regularly with Shepard. People would post very thoughtful comments, but we didn't, as Greg Stefanakis pointed out astutely, we didn't really interact enough with the commenters. And I made it a point to say that this time around, especially since I'm doing this show alone, I want to make sure that I'm very much involved with what the commenters are saying, what you guys are saying. And what I think the response to that has been is that you guys in the last video especially have been putting even more thought, into the comment itself, and that's great. It's really good stuff, and I read all of them. But now I'm in a quandary, and here it is. I read the response, I read the comment, and I want to respond. But I think, I do a podcast like this because I consider myself more of an orator than I do consider myself a writer. I don't think I'm very good at writing, actually. So I think, well, what I'll do is I'll just address them on the show. However, the comments are so meaty, there's so much to them, that it's like a whole episode. That would be like an episode of the show. That would be a whole subject. So maybe I just reserve that. Maybe it goes up onto the famous wall of subjects that I have in my room here. It's literally a whiteboard with stuff on it, with different subjects. And then I just post it up there. But I want to make sure that those who comment understand that I did read it and there will be a response and that we're going to talk about that, but it might not be right now, it might not be in the next episode. Especially considering, and here's where the other layer comes in, is that we talk about multiple things throughout the show, and different people take different subjects and kind of run with that subject. So we get in the meteor side of this subject A, the meteor side of subject B, and the meteor side of subject C, and responding to all of them in one show would be hard because they all could fill their own. So, do I just write? Do you guys prefer that I would just write, that, hey, I read it, like give a quick response and say that it's now on the wall of subjects? Or would you prefer that I just kind of respond in kind, respond in writing, even though it's not my favorite way to respond, but, I want to make sure that basically I want to give a equal response, a thought-filled response to each one. And I want to make sure that that I'm actually reading these comments. So it's twofold. I want to make sure both things are happening. But if it does just like end up on the show, I don't want to be redundant, basically. But I mean, maybe it's not being redundant. Maybe I respond to you. Not everyone's going to read the response, and then I do a show about it later. Maybe that's the best answer. Maybe I just answered my own question. I've tried to do this recording like 3 times in the same vein of like last week where I just wasn't in the mood to record, but I am in the mood to record, but I just did it like 2 or 3 times and I just killed the whole thing because I didn't like the recording. I don't know if you guys know this about me. And I know we haven't talked a lot about video games yet. We've been talking about the channel. But I record from front to back. I do the whole show. And that's it. And that's what I post. I don't cut it up. I don't really enjoy channels when I go to them and I see a monologue of a person, especially when they're just talking to the camera, and it's chopped up, and it's one sentence, chop. Another sentence, chop. Another sentence, chop. I don't know why I dislike it, it's just... the ideas are the ideas. And you can't criticize the form of how the idea comes across. You criticize the idea or you promote the idea if it's good or bad. But I don't like that editing style. And I hope you guys understand that I don't do that. I don't chop up the recording, good or bad. I feel like it gives a certain spontaneity to the show. So anyway, I would love for you guys to kind of give me what you think would be the best way to go about it. I think I kind of know now, even now that I've explored the idea in my head like 8 or 12 times, what I will do from now on. But definitely give me your advice, what you think would be the best way for me to communicate with you, because that's ultimately what's most important. I do want to touch on something. This is like Monday. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the work week. We're not going to have a lot of time to play video games up until the weekend. So this is what I've been thinking about, and I've had this discussion at work with people. And I don't know why. I think over the weekend I was playing The Witcher 3, and I did an experiment. And some of you might roll your eyes that I didn't do this already, but anyway, here it is. I think that we don't properly utilize graphics in video games anymore. And what I mean by that is we basically rest on the crutch of UI far too often. And I'll tell you where this whole line of thinking started. We've talked about this kind of thing before, but I was watching a guy at work. He was showing me, he was doing a stream. And he showed me a stream of him playing Mad Max. And anyway, his character runs up to a gate. It's like a locked gate. And now mind you, he has a radar telling him like his objective is on the other side of the gate. So he already knows he's got to kind of get through the gate. He runs up to the gate, and as soon as he gets to it, there's a big flashing button that appears on the bottom of the screen. We've all seen this before. It says hold A. He holds it down. As he's holding A, 2 things happen. A progress bar starts moving around the A to tell him that, just hold on, it's gonna happen, the gate will open. And also, Mad Max on the screen is now kicking the gate. I think he kicks like 3 times. He goes clang, 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 kicks it open. And he runs through. Now, here's my huge problem with that is that if you go back like 10 years in video games, we rarely had anything to prompt us to like activate a button, open a door. There was no big, huge prompts that say press A to open door. I don't really understand why we need these prompts, especially considering that if you go back into the Age of Doom, like, you could barely tell the difference between a pixelated wall and that pixelated door, but you could kind of make out that it was a door, and you would hit spacebar, and it would open the door. Okay? And if it didn't open the door, you would just hear a grunt from the guy go, ooh, and you knew, oh, can't open that door. And or it'd say, like, you need a key, you need the red key. But there was very little that told us this door needs to be opened. And now we have these beautiful graphics where everything is defined. There's no doubt in your mind that this is the gate, and that's the gate door. That's where I need to get through. I don't understand why we need to prompt players to do every little thing. So I kind of took my own advice, and I was playing The Witcher 3, which is such a beautiful game. It's such a great game. I can't get over how good it is. I haven't beaten it yet, only because I've also been playing Heroes of the Storm and some other multiplayer games, and if I'm playing a game, or if I'm ready to play, and one of my friends is on Heroes of the Storm, I will 99% of the time opt to play something that I can play with my friend than play a single-player game. That's just how I work. I'm very competitive when it comes to video games, when I'm playing multiplayer games, so I don't know. I want to get through more single-player games, but that's so besides the point. Anyway, so beautiful Witcher 3. And I jump on it this weekend, and I was like, hey, okay, I'm going to actually play Witcher 3. I'm so excited. And I hadn't played it in like a month, so I kind of had to relearn everything. Okay, I'm relearning this and that, and this is where this city is. Okay, got it. I'm like relearning the controls a little bit, playing Gwent, and I keep staring at the compass, the radar, which is one of those things I don't like. I've realized how much I can't stand radar. So there's a radar on the top right of the screen, right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn that sucker off, or find a mod that turns it off. Luckily, in this game, there is a option in the menu to just turn off the radar. So I click it off, and I can't even really... It's a shame that it took me this long to do it, because the game plays so much nicer with that sucker off. In the sense that it feels just so old school, because I'm consulting my map. You still have your map. You press M, to pull up your map, which I think is still like completely within that immersive experience, because if maybe you lived back then, you would have a map of the landscape around and look at it and consult it. But it was just so nice to have to actually explore the city and to not know exactly where you're going. And I realized while I was doing this how much I have my eyes glued to that thing when I'm walking around and not really taking in these gorgeous environments that these guys have crafted. I'm staring at this little dot with little dashes to show me where to go when there's this amazing world in front of me. And not to mention, don't be mistaken that I didn't appreciate how gorgeous this game was, but to explore it without anything really guiding you and just, kind of knowing where your objective, like, oh, I think it's north of here, you take in the environment so much more without that there. It was just this awesome experiment, and I like the game even more now. So, if anyone out there hasn't really tried doing this, it can be uncomfortable because I don't know, you're feel like you're kind of gimping yourself, but I don't know. It was awesome. I really, really appreciated it. So I suggest anyone to go ahead and try it. If you haven't done it, I think there's going to be a few people dude, I do that all the time. I can't believe you've been playing with radar this whole time. But I think there's some people who might not have tried doing that, and I think you'll be surprised at the results, because I certainly was. So I hope you guys all try that. I hope you pick some game you have, turn the radar off in the single player, and see how you do. Of course, things are always different in a competitive environment, but I really think you should try it out. And tell me what you think about the comment thing. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great week. And I will see you guys later this week. I will definitely be trying to post on Wednesday and Friday. So I will see you guys next time.